Of having Mr. Anthony Bowden here today. Anthony is the school founder and principal, is committed to reimagining the schooling experience for young African American men and establishing a learning institution wholly designed to meet their unique academic and social emotional needs. Anthony brings a critical lens to student accessibility of academic material and the need for safe learning environments. Anthony had the opportunity to serve as a manager in the special education department for the DC public school system, where he oversaw the delivery of special education services for 46,000 students across 115 schools. He also worked with school leaders in the adherence of federal and state requirements and supported teachers in the delivery of quality instruction to ensure the success of special population students in and outside of the classroom. For Anthony, the student experience was the most important experience, and the need to feel safe is foundational in any impactful learning and development are to occur. Understanding the need for educational change in his hometown of Clayton County, Georgia, Anthony joined the Freedom Fellows Institute, where they developed and supported talented leaders of color to found high quality charter schools where they are from. Along with his Freedom Fellows Fellowship, Anthony has also gained hands-on professional learning from his fellowships with High Tech High, New School Creation Fellowship, Envision Education's Deeper Learning Leadership Cohort, Georgia Charter School Association Charter Incubator, and most recently 4.0 Schools Fellowship, where he and his team were able to pilot a portion of their school's program to middle and high school students. In 2016, he published his first children's book titled The Day Jake Went to College, to inspire young children of color to read. Anthony's life has been dedicated to inspiring youth and giving back to underserved communities, whether it's coaching, leading schools, writing children's books, and now his venture to open a charter school. Anthony learns and then leads in all that he does. Today, we have Mr. Anthony Bowden, and here he is.
Thank you so much for that. That was really good. I'm not gonna do you like that again with my body.
It's okay.
Thank you guys so much for that.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I think, by you guys bringing me on and talking about school, I kind of wanted to stop and just talk about how I got to this point of just like even wanting to start a school, right? How Pivot Schools was born. As you kind of talked about, I worked in DC for a number of different years. School and education has always been my calling. I tell people all the time, you don't choose education. Education chooses you, right? So I never ran from my purpose, always ran to it. And just kind of seeing the inequities that kind of existed in education, right? I'm thinking, as most educators, hey, I'm trying to come in and save the world. I'm saying all of them, right?
Right.
And it just was not like that. But along with that, I saw problems within just the content of school, right? A lot of my babies were coming into school every day and didn't want to be there, right? I'm talking about first, second grade babies, like you still got a lot more school to be done,
exactly,
right? And so that hurt me, right? And then you start to think like, am I becoming part of the problem or the issue, right? And so I had to kind of just step back and just say, hey, what is it that I want to do? What can I do to do my part in what I love to do so much? And so I had this wild idea. I'm going to start a school.
Okay.
Right. And so, I've known also too that once I got into education, that's a school was something I wanted to do. Didn't know how, right? There's no book, there's no anything. You just kind of have to go and figure it out. And so that's what kind of led me to a lot of those fellowships, right? And so, yeah, from about 2019 to 2020, kind of just spent the majority time on the road looking at different high quality school options around the country for different students, right? What does it look like? What does high quality charters mean? What does it mean to be, different? What does it mean to be innovative? What does good teaching look like? What does good leadership look like? Right? But more importantly, too, what do kids and parents want to see? Right? What do they need? And understanding that different communities require different things, right? What they're doing on the south side of town may be totally different on what the need is on the north side of town. Right? There's not a one size fits all for education. And so truly understanding that, learning that, is kind of how we started to build kind of the fundamentals and the foundation of what Pivot School is, right? Our goal is to build with the community and not for the community.
Okay.
Right? We truly believe in that. Our goal is to listen first. We don't want to come in and just say, hey, we're going to do this, that, and the third, and just make community members and stakeholders and parents jump on board. Because that's not what we're about, right? Again, every environment, every community has different needs, and until you understand those needs, you cannot make decisions on what people need. Right. Absolutely. And so, the biggest thing that we're doing right now is just continuing to listen and build with what we're hearing, what we're getting back from the community. And so, Pivot is a 6-12 educational experience. Okay. Right? We are a career and technical education space. Again, with learning and listening from community members, parents, and students, we really felt like our babies need something tangible and hands-on that they can leave high school with and go into the workplace with, right? We're at a space in education where everybody's not going to college.
Right.
And that's okay, right? We do believe in education, some form of education, right?
Yes.
So with that, how can we prepare our babies from the day that they walk into our door to the time that they leave, and have them leave with something that say, hey, I can go out right now and go get a job because I'm certified already. I have certifications. I've been doing this since 6th grade, right? But I also have state and federal certifications that can go take me somewhere else if I want to leave high school right now. But on top of that, you get experience, right? In high school, hands-on experience with whatever field that you so choose to pick. And so coming through the doors in our 6th grade, our middle school is Career Academy. Right? We are, I like to tell people, we are dream chasers, not dream killers, right?
Okay, absolutely.
We want our babies to truly figure out who they are in middle school, right? And we know that's a treacherous time for a lot of our middle school kids, right? But also, too, a lot of dreams are shattered. Right? The biggest thing for pivot students, we want them to figure out what it is that they want to become, and we're not going to shoot at that. And so every day they'll have a career class where we talk about taxes, we'll talk about different jobs, we'll talk about all of these different things, financial literacy, all these different things that go into what a career is, what it takes to have a career, resume building, different things of that nature that they'll need. Right? And so different tracks, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then by the time they get to high school, you know, they'll have a CTE track that they can choose, whether it be, we'll just say cosmetology, whether it be STEM, whether it be engineering, whether it be nursing, just different things that we can provide for our students, again, so they can get that hands-on experience for them to lead. Another big pillar for us is our social emotional learning. Right? Huge. And that was the feedback that we got from parents. You know, my baby is a whiz academically, but socially, emotionally, they are not equipped. As you know, working, you're going to work around people, and you're going to need to work in a collaborative setting to get different things done, to achieve goals. How can you manage your emotions enough to be able to work around it? So, you know, along with that, just learning about themselves. How can we teach you who you are early on as well, too? What kind of learner are you? What do you like to do? Because a lot of kids are just really influenced by what other kids are doing. So our goal, again, since 6th grade, you'll get a social emotional class every single day. Yes, before you even hit the books, even before we get to academics, you're going to get at least 30 to 45 minutes of social emotional learning. Let's take that. Let's take off everything. Let's talk. Let's figure stuff out. Let's learn about ourselves before we even jump into that.
Okay.
You know, I tell parents this all the time, that our babies come into our classrooms with what I like to call invisible backpack. There's something in it, right? We can't see, but it's our job to figure out what's in it that's impeding them from the academic section, right? And so, in order to get really good academic results, there was just something that was missing, right? And so that SEL piece is a very vital piece for us. We pair those together. Like, there's academics isn't above SEL, and SEL isn't above academics. They pair really well to get a really good educational setting for our.
Yes. Well, look at y'all at Pivot School. Just because you said you shared a lot of great information, a lot of the things I love, and we're going to touch on a lot of it. But just to go back, Pivot Schools, where did the name come from?
I'm glad you asked that question. The name really just came from pivoting away from what we feel like education is and what it should be. Right? To pivot means to go away from the monotony of different things that are going on and make headway, treadway, start a new way of thinking and teaching our babies. Again, our goal is to build wisdom, not force, right? And so understanding that and doing the work in the community, you know, we need to pivot away from what we feel like or what other people are telling us is the right educational setting, right? A lot of our babies, all of our babies are different ways, right? Everybody isn't for the traditional route of school, right? And understanding that, let's pivot away from that. And we're not saying that what other people are doing is wrong, right? But there's another way
Yeah.
to achieve that goal, right? And so, yeah, our goal is to kind of just pivot away and have communities on board and be in the community with those who want to have a level of thinking and learning and doing for our babies.
All right, that's amazing. Okay, and so do you have? I know you said you shared that you get a lot of the parents' input, things that the parents have shared. So do you all have forums where parents can come and talk to? Like, do y'all host meetings, or is it something that you can that you all do host to where parents can come and share their desires and what they would like to see and what their expectations are?
Yeah, most definitely. So we kind of received a very small grant,
Mm-hmm.
right, to kind of pilot our program.
Okay.
And so we did this last year, and a lot of the data we talked about data earlier
Mm-hmm.
that we gathered from parents and students, right,
Okay.
through that grant and us piloting. And so yeah, we do forums. We try to host like monthly sessions where we can just kind of come in and work with parents and work with community members, working with you guys, right? Having the chance to kind of speak to community members about, hey, this is what we're doing. What is this that you guys are seeing? So anywhere we can, and we'll pop into different events that may be going on. And just again, listening, right? Not so much as really asking questions. Sometimes we will, but a lot of the work we want to do is on the listening side because we also feel like parents are not being heard, right? I think that is very critical to our success as well. We want to make sure parents feel valued, they feel heard, but not only parents but stakeholders, right? Because again, environments are constantly changing daily, right? And so if we're not on top of what's going on and not listening to that, then we'll kind of fall into the routine and not pivoting, right? So the goal is to constantly pivot and make changes, right? Because communities are changing. And so we just felt like, education hasn't changed in a while, right? But, after COVID and even before COVID, right? Like environments, communities have just changed, but education has stayed the same. So how can we have this saying, like, we want to make sure that when kids wake up every single day that they're excited. Right? Like, in what better way than that, than having, kids being able to, again, chase their dreams, understand what it is that they like, right? And so, that's really our goal as well. So,
Okay. Yeah, well, I was going to say this question towards the end, but when you just said kids excited to go to school, I'm going to insert it right here. What would be a typical day like for a child to walk into Pivot schools? Like, what can they expect when they walk in those doors in the morning?
First, when you walk through the doors, you're going to be greeted. You're going to be loved on, right? Really, 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 really hard. And instead of like college banners, you may see banners of different jobs, places that students want to work or different things that they've done and their work that they've been shown. You may hear some music playing early in the morning just to get the kids ready to go.
Okay.
And then, we jump right into SEL block, right? Where we're asking you, hey, what was last night like? Anything that you guys want to get off your chest? Just so we can go ahead and just break the monotony of, man, I'm coming in mad, or I haven't did anything. You're gonna get some breakfast, some really good food, right? We're gonna feed you. We're gonna feed you, baby.
Like good food.
We're gonna feed you, baby.
Yes.
And boom, after SEL block, we're gonna jump into some really good math or some social studies or whatever the case may be. But in our classes, we goal set, right? And so there'll be a lot of goal setting for our babies, just to hold them accountable as well too, because that's something that kids want to be. That's something, the feedback that we've got, right? Like, we want to be accountable for our work. How do we do that? And so we kind of incorporated some WOOP goals, wish, outcome, opportunity, and a plan, right?
Okay.
And so we want to make sure that our babies are goal setting at all times, just to keep that in mind. Like, this is what I said I wanted to do, not you told me you had to do it, but like, what is it that you want to do? And so, they'll goal set, they'll go through their academic day, but it's also, they may have a project on, let's say, some math. They might have some math work, but we might spin it into some entrepreneurship work. That's something that they can relate to, right? Not just something from a book, but something that in the community that may be going on and they can just kind of bring to them. And then, again, lunch and finish the day with our career class where they're kind of really pinpointing what it is that they want to do, what it is that they love, what they're passionate about. So we want all of our babies to leave our school figuring out what they're passionate in. We don't want to have to wait until you spend money in college trying to figure out what it is that you want to do.
And then you don't even use it.
There you go. Somebody understand what's going on, right?
You went to school for all these years and spent all this money for.
Right. So if we could mitigate that from the beginning and just start that in sixth grade, we feel like we can save money.
Yeah.
But also save lives.
Right.
That's really the main thing. Just to save lives.
Yeah. And you keep touching on something that's very that's dear to my heart. You talk the social emotional learning and having your emotional IQ. A lot of people get caught up on the intelligence, your regular IQ, but emotional IQ is supersedes, in my opinion.
Yep.
Being just being smart, being academically smart, and because if you don't know how to handle things socially, emotionally, and you can be the smartest person in the room, but if your emotions, if you don't know how to handle your emotions and things and have those in check, you can destroy everything that you're working for. And so I love the fact that when you talk about that's the first thing that you all dive into when walking into the school, the class, because you don't know what that night before was like for the child, for the parent. And so what I was leading to was, is there something, of course, it's all about the kids, it's all about the babies, right? But after they leave your safe environment, they go back to the environment that they live in.
Yes.
And so what type of will there be some type of resources for parents if parents are interested, for them to learn about social emotional learning and intelligence and things of that nature, so where the child is not just getting the knowledge, but the parents or the guardians at home is also getting that knowledge as well.
You bring a really, really, really great point up, right? And I tell people this all the time. The school and the environment is a constant fight, right? Like I can have your baby for 8 days. 8 days, I'm sorry, it feels like 8 days, but 8 hours out of the day, so they have to go home, right? And chances are the person that they listen to at home is not, it's mommy, daddy, granny, auntie, whomever, and they like, I'm mama. I'm whatever I say goes.
Right.
And so like I don't care what the folks tell me what to do. Right. Whatever I say, this is my house, this is what goes, right? And so like first form of education is in the house. Right. And so to bring that back around to what you were saying is that there has to be a situation and a place for adults, whoever caretakers, to come and receive some of that as well too. Can't just be on the kid, right? And that's another thing too, because I can only imagine a kid go home and say, "Hey, we learned this and learned that today," and telling an adult, and they're like, "I don't care about what that is. This is mine."
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And so there has to be, and so yes, there will be. Right. Again, that is, Pivot is more than just an educational space; it's community, right? And so we have to have those. People coming in, whether it's social workers, whether it's therapists, whether it's counselors, or whether it's outside organizations that are doing the work, and helping us do the work. And so, that's another reason why I'm here as well, too, just to kind of spread the word of like, hey, whoever wants to get on board with what we're doing, we would love it.
Right.
Trauma is a real thing, right? Like, let's be all the way clear. Our babies are facing some really tough times, with suicide rates being very high, especially for adolescents. It's a real thing. And I don't think that adults understand what our babies are going through, right? It's just it's a tough time in America in general, but it's a really tough time for our babies, right? And so, yeah, to your point, we want all of that. We welcome all of that. And that is the goal, whether it's quarterly, monthly. We have this thing, VIPs, right? Like very important parents. You know what I'm saying? Like we want parent involvement in need.
Right.
Let me not even say want, need
Needed. Yes,
parent
it's very
involvement,
needed.
right? Especially in the middle school area, you see a lot of drop off from parents, right? Unfortunately, that's the worst time
Right.
to drop off because middle school is a very tough time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody has middle school stories, right? But it's not the time to be taxed away. It's the time to really dig a little deeper, right? And then kind of show some of that towards the high school area. But yeah, we need that,
Right.
and we want to educate parents on the things that make us different and what's going to make your baby different. And so, our goal is so even if your baby's coming home and talking about, hey, we learned this in our SEL class, that it's not them getting shut down, it's them being welcome to have that conversation, right? Because we are doing things a little bit different. But that is, to be completely honest, that's why you brought your babies here, right? Like you know exactly what's going on, and you know what they needed. And so when they come home and talk about it, or when it's a discussion, don't shun them off, But yeah, we really want and need that experience from our parents for sure.
Yeah. Because like you said, parents want to feel needed. They want to feel needed, especially when it comes to the school involvement and being active in their children's educational journey. And like you said, they are needed, but I think a lot of parents parent from being the adult, and it's just like, child, sit down somewhere. Your problems is nowhere as big as mine. I have mortgage, rent, bills. Well, that's not their life. So they don't have those issues yet. But that does not mean that the issues that they're having is not real. They're just not on your scale because you are the parent. You are the adult. So you are experiencing life differently than this baby, but they are experiencing life as well. And just like sometimes their kids sometimes receive the snowball effect. And so when things are not right in the home and there's financial issues or food disparities or whatever going on, the snowball effect and it hits the kids. And sometimes parents don't see that. Yes, you're dealing with whatever it is in your adult and parenthood world, but it trickles down to the babies. And your baby is in a room figuring out, trying to think, well, mama don't have enough to feed us, or our light is about to get cut off, or we've got another eviction notice. What can I do to go out here to help her make some money? Or what can I do to not be a burden? And that is why I'm not going to say that is why suicide rates for our adolescents, but some of those things play a part because these kids are carrying a burden that they can't fully talk about. And so with the school, like Pivot, that welcomes, baby, your opinion, your thoughts, your ideas, whatever you're going, if your stuff is valid, and I want to hear your voice. Sometimes kids feel like they don't have a voice because they're a child. You're a child, stay in a child's place. I heard that so much growing up. You stay in a child's place. Right. But I got something to say.
And what I have to say matters.
Yes. And so I think it's very important and it's very good that y'all are providing a space. Like you said, first thing in the morning, let's sit down and let's unpack this invisible backpack. Let's figure out what's going on, what happened. You don't have to get into detail about what happened, but share your feelings, share your emotions. I want you to know that you are in a safe space. And I feel like that is amazing. I love that. I love that. And I love that will be the first thing that they experience in the morning. Because just like us, we have a rough night coming into work. It just be heavy.
Don't talk
it just be heavy coming in and just, but when you have, for these kids, but adults have found a way to adapt and overcome, and you muster through your day. But you're expecting a child to be able to have those qualities of learning to just adapt and go through their day. But then you wonder, well, why are you acting up in this class? Or why are you failing this class? Or what is going on? Has anybody stopped to talk and ask what was going on? How are they feeling? What happened the night before, the morning of? And again, I'm going to say it again. I love the fact that that would be the first thing
every morning
that they experience in the morning, because I really think it's very important to unpack your feelings, unpack your emotions, and for our young men to experience that, for them to experience
critical. I think also too giving them the skills to do it.
Yes,
One thing to talk about it, but
yes.
like our SEL portion is giving light to skills. What skills do I need to cope with? You know, I'm always angry, or my parents are always angry at me, or whatever the case may be. What am I doing? Let me give you a set of skills that you can use. I know some of those who need some skill sets right now. Right. And so it's like, you know, if it goes unchecked, you know, from childhood to adult, then you'll spend your time trying to undo a lot of different things, right? And so again, we are just kind of like preventative, right? Like this thing is preventative. That is what we want to do. We don't want to wait until you are, you know what I'm saying, 30, 40, and now you still, man, I gotta go check something. I did when I was in 6th grade. Right? Like, it's like we are preventative in that way of like, we want to give students skill sets consistently too, right? Let's be all the way clear. We're not just one of those, we're going to do it Mondays and Thursdays. Like, no, consistency is key with our babies. Yeah. Whether it's the people we got in front of them, the things that we do, like, it has to be consistent for it to stick. But also, you said something that was very important, in a safe space, right? And I don't mean like physically, because we are definitely going to make sure our babies are physically safe, because we know, you know, the world is just a crazy place, but like emotionally safe. Right? Like emotionally safe, to be able to talk about my feelings, to be able to say, this is how I feel, right? And for that to be okay, right? But also to academically safe. We want our babies to raise their hand, and if it's no, and if it's not the right question, it's not answered, that's okay. Yeah. This is the time to mess up. Right. Mess up now. Right. Like behind the scenes. Yeah. Right? Like this is the perfect time to mess up. Yeah. And so, yeah, we are just preventative care, right? Like that is think of us as that. Like we don't want to wait till, you know, 20 and 30 that, man, I wish I would have had, right? Like we hear that all the time. Man, I wish I would have had. Here it is. Right? Like this is what the time, like I said, the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. And that's what we want to do. So yeah, that same space is very vital as well. So I'm so glad about that, because a lot of kids academically do not feel like they're scared to take those tests academically, not knowing that that's the goal, right? Like you're supposed to mess up in here, yeah, right? Like this is why you're here. It's not, you're not gonna get everything right, and that's okay. Let's teach you how to get it right, but it's okay to mess up in here. But a lot of kids don't feel safe enough to take those tests academically. Whether it's I want to be too cool to you know get the wrong answer, or I'm too cool to say how I feel, or different things of that nature. Like we want to take that out. You know, like our culture is built on you know, being able to be safe and have those conversations and take those risks, while also being physically safe as well. So because we know that that's a very vital thing too. But yeah, culture is going to be huge for us. Yeah, okay. And so this, I want you to, once you know, y'all get your school building stuff, this is one of the quotes I want you to put in your school, okay? So this is what I want you to put. I gotta get the person that it's from, but it goes, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults. I want that in your school. Yes. I just feel like that needs to be in your school. So I'm going to speak that and hope that resonates in your spirit when the school is getting built, that that's going to be one of the quotes that's going to be on the walls, okay? I'll receive it. All right. Yes. Well, listen, it was so great having you here and you talking about this. Listen, y'all are doing great work. Let's just go ahead and start there. Y'all are doing great work. This is going to be something that's going to be amazing for the community, for our kids, for the parents. It's going to be something that's very impactful. And so how can people reach you? How can they help you? What is it that Pivot Schools need in order for this to become everything that it needs to be? Yeah, so we are currently looking for mission and vision driven board members, right? Like it takes a really good board from different various backgrounds, and information. Doesn't have to be real estate. It can be all over, because that's what makes us better as well too. You got knowledge in your field. You have knowledge over here. Let's bring it over here to make this thing work. So we're constantly looking for board members. If you need to reach out to me, the Pivot Schools with an S at gmail.com is the easiest way. I'm always on my phone. I'm always an email away. The pivotschools.com or the .org, I want to say, is our website. But the best way to contact me is the Pivot Schools at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, thank you, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you guys for having me.
Being here and just sharing, because listen, we need this.
Yes.
We need this. So we gonna make it happen.
Yes.
Okay. And does anybody have any questions? Okay, come on.
Thank you so very much for walking in your purpose. My question is, do your school, the Pivot School, accept youth who have developmental learning disabilities?
Yes. So my background is in special education, so there's a special place in my heart for our special education students. So yes, we are a charter school. That means we are a public school. We accept all students from every walk of life. We do not discriminate. We will not discriminate. We want all of your babies, and there will be somebody to make sure your babies get everything that they need.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? So listen, I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being a part. We do have, Augusta Partnership for Children has some event that is coming up on March 13th. We are having a diaper drive from 1 to 4 p.m. here at Augusta Partnership for Children, 435 Terrifair Street. On March 14th, we will have our next parent cafe with Miss Gibbons from Channel Pathways. And then on March 28th, we are having our Easter extravaganza, okay, at May Park Community Center from 5 to 8 p.m. So you can find out about all of those different events on the Augusta Partnership website. Also, we have an initiative going on, Project Impact. We are looking for people 18 to 42 years old to be participants in a survey project that we are hosting. All information can be found on Augusta Partnership's website. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope to see you all next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.